All right. I believe everybody's here. So
Hello,
um
hello, hello.
so we're gonna get started. Um I'm Aaron Jackson. Um Obviously, we putting together this show for Rabiah, a memorial show, just to talk about, her life and how she was, so the people could know who she really was, as a person, and obviously just to find justice for the whole situation. Um, this is the co-founder of FGO, my business partner, Rodman. Introduce yourself before we start.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm Rodman. Nice to meet y'all. How y'all doing today?
Okay. Before we start, I wrote a statement last night, so I could tell everybody what this whole thing is about. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this article. Um, I'm sad to announce to all our listeners and viewers of the FGO Network that we lost a former guest and a great friend of ours, Rabiah Ahmad, and her unborn daughter Ahja, due to gun violence last month. Early this year, Rabiah was our guest speaker for Race Relation Conversation, a guest on the Behind the Beard podcast, and was one of the people in my life I can call a real true friend. Me and the FGO team decided to reach out to her family and closest friends to come together and make a memorial show to celebrate her life and to hear stories from the people that were very close to her. For the people that didn't know Rabiah, she was a celebrity cosmetologist and was a philanthropist of her community in Miami and was the founder of KiyomiHouse, which was her company that supplied natural skin and hair care products and other endeavors she was potentially working on for her company. The FGO team and Rabia's family did not only want to put this show together to celebrate her life, but to bring awareness of the situation to the masses and to find justice for her. Um, I want to start off by saying introduce everybody, uh, tell everybody who you are and what was your relationship like, and we can start off from there. Um, we can start off by Miss Anita, which is her aunt.
Hi, my name is Anita Naji, and I am Rabia's eldest aunt.
And Jamila, which is Rabia's mom.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamila Ahmad, and I am Rabia's mother. Good evening to
Hello,
everyone.
good evening. Hello, good evening.
Um, yeah, Aziz, which was her cousin.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Aziz Phillips. I'm one of Rabia's baby cousins, and good evening to everyone.
We
What's
have
up, man? Good evening. How you doing?
Susie Analog.
Hi, I am Susie Analog. I'm a producer, songwriter, and I am a close friend of Rabiel, who um, did my hair for a long time. The whole time I've been living in Miami, the last 3 years. So we spent a lot of time together.
We got Munch.
Yo, what's up? It's Munch. I'm an entrepreneur, community advocate. I've known Bebe since pretty much since we were jits. I'm like 8 years old. So
That's right. And we have her cousin. I didn't want to pronounce your name wrong, so I just gonna call you Lala. um, um, introduce yourself.
Lala, also known, I'm Laila, also known as Lala. I was BB's youngest cousin of our generation. Then you got um, one of my sister, he was my sister, and
I think okay. And then we have Margot.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, excuse me. I worked closely with Rabiah for a couple of projects related to fashion and art.
So before we start the show, I want to give a moment of silence before we start the memorial. So if you can, bow your head. All right. So again, this show is pretty much just to shine light of her life. She was a beautiful soul here on this earth. So I want everybody. I want to hear everybody's stories. So we're gonna start off with Susie. How did you meet Rabiah, and how was that time like?
So I was visiting Miami from New York, where I lived at the time, probably 2014, and I went to an event in Wynwood with my friend Maria Chain, actually, who was living here in Miami at that time, who is a really great creative. She something about Maria and I, we always pride a sisterhood. So the women that I would meet through her will always be some really great, dynamic, and very supportive and spiritual sisters. So we just happened to go to an event in Wynwood, and Bebe was doing the door at the event, and just her energy. And I meet people all of the time, and her energy just stood out. You could just see it. You could just see her aura, and I just remembered her. I remembered her, and I said, "Oh, I like your hair." She said, "Oh, I do hair. I'm an esthetician." She was telling me about a list of things she could do, and I loved her confidence and everything. So I said, "Great, let's exchange contacts." So we followed each other on Instagram. So a few years later, I was super depressed in New York, and I was living there, and I was like, I need to leave. I didn't want to move to LA, didn't want to move to Cali. I decided to move to Miami because I'm a real East Coast girl. So I moved down here, but before I moved down here, I said, who could do my hair? Because that's just what every Black girl would always say. I can't move somewhere where I don't know anyone could do my hair. And I remember Bebe, and I followed her. And I eventually moved down here. But I didn't reach out to her. Actually, for the first year or so I was here, I went on a tour with a band called Sylvan Esso. I, had different hairstylings during the whole tour, but something was like sitting with me and saying like, man, you should reach out to that girl. Bebe hit me up. She contacted me out of nowhere in the summer of 2018. I said, I'm working on a braid project. I would love to braid your hair. It's called the Drip Project. It's a women's empowerment project. And I'd love to do your hair. You don't actually have to pay anything. I'm gonna do this for free, and I just want to trade photos. So if I can use your image, then I'll just do your hair. And so it was on from then. Her and I really stuck tight. We sat and came up with creative ideas for hours, and she always was the first person to just hit me up and ask me how I was doing. And being new to Miami, she really showed that genuine care. So she really made me feel happy that I actually moved down here, because I said to myself, I know there's women entrepreneurs and Black women entrepreneurs in Miami. I know it. I met some before. I know they're down here. And she really showed me it was true.
Mm-hmm. That was yeah. She always had that she would always like hit you up like random, like with anybody, like just to check in, and not even text. Like she would probably pull up on you like, yo, how you doing? Everything good?
Pull up on me. There were days where I had a flight to go to another country, and I needed a touch up real quick. And she said, you know what, girl, I'm gonna just cancel this appointment and come to you, because she did not want me to be upset. Not because I would be upset, she loved me, you know. So that's it. I just that kind of rare love and that rare energy, you know, it's just something that I saw from the very start, and she proved me right on everything.
Yeah. So we're gonna go on to the next person I had in mind, Margot. How did you meet Rabiah for the first time?
I actually met her through Susie. So was this 2018? I think 2018. Yeah. I was working with Empowered for an event for Art Basel.
Losing connection. So can you hear me? No. So we're gonna go to the next. We're gonna go to the next person. Munch. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
How did you? I know you said. I know you said you knew her since 8 years old. What was the first time you met her?
And I was working in the fashion portion, so we had a fashion show.
Hello, Margot?
Yeah.
Margot, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna go straight to Munch. Yeah, Munch. So when was the first time you met Rabiah? I remember you saying, you met her when you was like 8 years old. Can you hear me, Munch?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So when was the first time you met her?
To be honest, we always kind of was confused whether it was 6 years old or 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I the one that I can remember was 8 years old at the African Heritage Cultural Arts Center.
Mm-hmm.
And
her mom said 8 years old.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've been over there that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've really known each other that long. We always been tight. It was really like at the center, always at the center. And that's a brotherhood, sisterhood, family at the center. So we just connected, and we was just kind of like the black sheep of all the popular kids. We was always like those how they say it, the indigo child,
Yeah.
That's those children. Yeah.
But we was just like, I guess for us, we was like just more interesting than a lot of people. And we just always click, man. We just always click.
I'm back.
Okay, 1 second, Margot. So like, y'all went to school together, I believe, right? As well, right? At the West and stuff like that.
But nah. Everything was predicated on, the center. Like I said, we just all contact. She'll call me, be like, pick me up from school. I'd be like, at the time, I'd be like, all right, I'll slide. She was always a supportive person for me. You know what I'm saying? We middle school, high school, like, you feel me? We was just always supportive of one another. If she was working downtown, or I remember one point she had a job at Johnny Rockets, and it seemed like every time she would get off, I was picking her up from the train station. So like we was like real tight.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get back to Margot. Margot, are you back? Margot?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I'm on the road, so if I lose connection, my apologies.
It's okay.
So I'm actually, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. About that, I'm on the road, so I'm probably going to disconnect a few times, so my apologies beforehand. Okay. So I actually met Rabiah through Susie in 2018 for an event we did for Art Basel. We had a collaborative like art and fashion based event where I was over the fashion portion, and we had like a post-apocalyptic kind of vibe. And I was looking for hairstylists, and Susie immediately like linked me to Rabiah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we immediately there, like her energy was next level. Like her talent was amazing. And I was just like, wow, where have you been all my life? Like, where have you been?
Yeah.
And from there, we connected a few times for different events, different shoots, and everything. That every time she always delivered every time. And one thing that I definitely remember, and I will never forget, is that I was looking for a hairstylist. I work at a women's shelter, so we were looking for hairstylists to do the kids' hair for back to school. And I was looking for hairstylists. I posted on Instagram, and she immediately hit me up like, when, what time, I'm there, I'll be there. Like really willing to just donate her services to help out these young girls in the shelter. She did about 4 to 5 girls. She literally stayed there. I took her home. She literally left at like 9 o'clock. She was super committed to making sure those girls look great. But I just remember her walking through the building and everybody just being like, who's that? I don't want her to do my hair. Like, who's that? Like, room felt it. Everybody asked her, and yeah, she was just super, she had that energy.
Yeah. My bad, I'm on mute. One thing about Rabiah, when she says she gonna do something, she gonna do something. That's one thing that's about her. Like, she gonna do it. She helped me on a few projects with myself, and she always delivered. The next question I have for everybody, this goes for everybody, family and friends. How did her energy gravitate to you every time you seen her? Anybody is more than welcome to answer.
Maybe we can't stress it enough. Hi, Lala again. I got cut off. I don't know what happened, but we can't stress it enough. Bebe was a light. Like, she was a real life source of energy on her own. And anytime she walked into the room, anytime you talked to her on the phone, anytime you just thought about her, you got a light from that in itself. And if you was feeling down, I'm gonna just speak personally. I'm feeling down and I just want to talk and kick it and talk crap to my cousin. I'm gonna call her and she gonna boost your energy up. Like, I come home on lunch break, knowing good and well I'm not supposed to be here, but I come home on lunch break and I talk to her on my lunch break. We'll be talking for hours on Duo, and we'll be talking about really anything, any type of a conversation that'll come up. It flow. And you can't get that type of a connection with just anybody. Bebe always was like that growing up. Bebe was she was just different, but it was in the best way you can ever think about. It was no comparison to her. So it's just, like I was saying before, it just really sucks that we having this conversation on the behalf of her without her actually being here in the physical to really reap the benefits of everything that's being said about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if I may talk, I'm speaking on Aziz's line here, and I'm Aunt Naima. Hello, everybody. When did I meet Rabiah Ahmad? When she was an infant. I flew to Chicago, Illinois, because my sister was having complications with her child, giving birth to her baby, and my daughter held her. My daughter was 5 months old, and held her in her arms at 5 months. And I can tell you that my daughter, Aziza, who's not here right now, very close to her. I, Aunt Naima, wanted her in everything I put my daughter in, I wanted her in. I was constantly a person who made sure if my sister wasn't available, I was her other mother, And we all were like that as far as aunts go, Lala right here, I practically grabbed her out the womb when she was born, So for me, I have an ache in my womb for the loss of my baby. Yeah, she's all of our baby. But I can tell you from the time she was little, she can dance, she can sing, she was outgoing. The gentleman talked about being the outcast. My family, we were outcasts ourselves, you know? We were those people that we had so much to offer, but for some reason we were hated because I think it was like Rabiah, people see the light in you and they don't know how you thrive on simplicity, you see? You don't need the physical things. You don't need, all you want to do is share your love and be loved. But you're not thirsty for love because we had a big family, so that ain't the thirst. The thirst is to show you what you may not be getting in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So what we try to do is give. And I don't need to have you close to me every day, but I want to give back to the world because the Almighty gave to us, and that flows through our children. So if that makes me the black sheep, a person that you don't like, I'm quirky, I'm whatever it is, I'm a nerd, whatever you want to label me, then so be it. I beg to differ, you understand? And these children, we teach them, beg to differ, be different, show your best self in this world, you know, because the world got so much negative energy, demons, hate out here. But the best thing you can give back is show light. And that way, you can pass it on. Say hello to someone in passing. They may not say hello back, but guess what? They may get down the street and say, you know what, that person said hello to me. And pass that on to someone else. So this was Rabiah. You know, and she got it honest because she didn't just get it from her aunts and uncles, her mother. She got it from her grandfathers, and now we finding out she got it from her great-grands and so on and so forth. That was our life. We're finding out through DNA testing and the whole nine that we're just simply givers in our ancestors, through our ancestors. So do we get back in return? That's not the point. The point is you give, and the Almighty takes care of the rest. So Rabiah Ahmad, again, I met her as an infant, and who she was up to the day she passed to go on to our God was a light. She was a lightning rod. She was a beacon. You understand? You gravitate towards once you know, if you're the type of person who you want love and light, everybody do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does. Even the people, your haters, they're going to always find their way back because they know you represent love. And that's who Rabiah was. She represents love. June 19th, I talked to her on Zoom with this big baby in the belly. And all we did was laugh, and I see them squinty eyes. Auntie, I miss that, auntie, because that's how she did things. And always smiling. When you saw her riled up, that's when you know somebody done pushed her to the edge, and that was rare. It was rare. It was so rare.
She would never let nobody get her mad. That's one thing about her.
Man. It was so rare that you saw that. And when I saw it, I'm sorry, because that's my baby. If I saw it in that way, I knew, okay, it's time for Auntie to come and throw some blows. Who messing with my baby? You know?
Yeah.
But I just want you all to know that from where I sit, I am so glad that all the things that I'm hearing, because you send your children out into the world in prayer, you know, and in hopes that they're doing the right thing. And what I gather from all of this is that we sent her out into the world, and she was doing what she was destined to do.
Yeah.
She will call you. She want to know, Auntie, what you think about this? Auntie, what you think about that?
She used to always ask questions. She didn't care.
Always.
She didn't care.
I'm the auntie. I'm going to tell you about your coins. I'm going to tell you how to save because I don't like spending my money. I want something for nothing, you see.
Yeah.
And she was always constantly, Auntie, tell me about this. Tell me about debit. Tell me about credit, because I used to let her know. It's one thing to get that bread. But what are you going to do with it afterwards? Because you got to make your money Your money has to make money. And if you're investing in yourself, you got to put your money back into your business. You got to save some, you got to spend some, and so on and so forth. And how are you going to do this? And how are you going to go about doing it? And what's your game plan? And what's your business plan? You know? So just things that I've learned through my life. I'm not a business owner or anything, but I listen and I read, and money has always been good for me. I know how to turn in the words of my mother, I know how to turn a nickel into a dollar, you know? So these are the things that we try to pass on to our babies. And these were the things that she was constantly thriving and learning as she aged in this life. And what I'm learning is that in the giving piece, that's just a part of who we are as a family. You know, to know us is to know that. So that came through our womb to that baby, to all of these babies. And I'm just happy to know that she was out there doing the work, you know, and I thank you all for this. I do.
Appreciate it. I appreciate
All right, I'm going to give this back to my son. All right, thank you, everyone.
All right. Anyone else want to, talk about her energy and how she gravitated to you while she was around you?
Speaking from a perspective of someone who grew up also as the only child, I think Robbie and I really just connected deeply. Like we understood the need to help people feel like they aren't alone. That was a part of our relationship that we really shared. And it'd be times where she would just come to my show. I wouldn't even know who's gonna show up. I'm like, I have a show. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Like, I have a show. When? I'm gonna be there. Like, and then she'll come. One of the last things she told me, is, more people need to support you. Susie, no, they need to support you. They need to see what you're really doing. They don't understand. They act like they understand, but she wanted the best for me. This woman who is creating her own future, wanted the best for me. She understood how much it took and the times that we actually took to sit and just talk about how we wanted our lives and how we wanted to be treated and how we wanted to be owners of our own companies and all of these things. It just showed that she has so much drive and it takes years to get that vision where you feel like you know exactly what you want to do, but she really had it. She had everything that it takes. And so that is why, it will forever bother me that she's not here with us, because she is someone who, not only did she have that drive, she had a healing sensibility. This woman could heal herself. She wanted to help heal others using natural ingredients for your skin. She didn't want you to have a scar, a scratch, a dry scalp. She didn't want you to feel like you were sick. When she herself would be eating something, I'm gonna stop eating that. That's not good for me. She only wanted the best for herself. She learned through her beautiful, and then for me to meet her family and all of these beautiful, amazing women in her family, I'm just like, wow, this literally is an angel on earth. Like, that's basically what she was, an angel on earth. And every day I think about that. Every day I think about how she never wanted any harm to come to her body or the bodies of the people that she loved. And so it's just like, I'll never be okay with the fact of what happened to her, because she never wanted harm for anyone. Her energy was all about healing. Let's find our truth. Let's find our purpose. Let's stand in it. Let's be strong. And she was really one of the strongest people, man. One of the strongest people I ever met.
Munch, can you speak on her energy when she was around you? And how she gravitated to you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it was like really, like, when we really clicked when we was like 14. And I never forget, we was working on a project with Ray Paris, for the center. And we just always clicked. And she understood. Everybody don't understand me. They don't understand. Like, I get heated sometimes and they don't understand it's passion. It's not anger. And she understood that right away. When we got older, there was an experience where, you know, I went through some things and I went to Jackson Mental Health. But the night before, I was at Bebe house. I was like, I'll be all right if I'm with Bebe, you know, and if Bebe said, go here, I'm there. If I say, go here, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So she was always, I mean, if you, you know, Susie's on the line, and a couple other folk that I know. And literally, if you know that anywhere I went, Bebe knows all my connections and where are my friends. So she was like my right hand, you know what I mean? At all times. Even down to the day, even down to the, you know, my birthday, you know? So, you know, I called on the phone, we talked on the phone all the time, you know, to congratulate her on so much. We you know, we look forward to so many things, but at the end of the day, man, her energy, I can't explain how many times she was always there for me. Like, you know, I got from school and stuff. I didn't get a chance to go to school, like go to college, go to a school I wanted to go to, like UM football, and stuff like that. And she pretty much like had my back, and she was the one that was there, like, hey, you know, that don't determine your greatness and stuff like that. And she always was like that inspiration to me, even down to the point of like my hair. She used to come like wash my hair at my house. Like, so when Susie talk about hair, like, she don't play about your hair looking crazy. Like right now, she'd be tripping. Like, man, you need to pick it out. She used to she taught me.
She would be mad. She literally would be, and that's no shade. If your hair isn't how she knows it could be, she would be. And I hear her voice, just how you just said, oh, you need to do this. I hear that all the time. I will not go to sleep without a do-rag.
So basically, like the back right here, right? It was a whole bunch of it because it was growing uneven. I had that much trust in Bebe that I let Bebe like cut it. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, do what you do. You know what I mean? Even down to, you know, her hair woes. You know, we were just always there for one another, man. And Bebe definitely is. That was my go-to. Anytime I'm tripping, you know, mentally, that was my go-to. And you know, like Susie said, it's been rough, you know, but you know, I have like little memories of like little things have been happening. To be honest, I don't know if, you know, sometimes, you know, moms don't want me to talk about it, but I feel like it's a couple times she done came back and gave me like little hints, like everything gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
She's here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel it every day. You know what I mean? Like even right now, like, you know, that's my dog. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really want to get too, you know.
I understand. And it was so crazy. I met Rabiah through Munch. It was he had a podcast party, and the way that she came in the room, like the way she came in the room, I had to pull her aside. I'm not gonna lie, like your energy in this room, like it just, you know what I'm saying, just it hit different. I don't really tell that to too many people, but her how her hairstyle was, you know what I'm saying, and you know it's crazy. But the next question I have strictly for the family, I want to start with Miss Anita, her aunt. How was Rabiah as a child? You know, growing up. I know we talked about that earlier, but a little bit briefly. But how was she as a child?
As a child, Rabiah was very inquisitive. She was so bubbly. You know, sometimes I would get tired just watching her as she made her movements through life. You know, I know that you were talking about just a little earlier about, you know, the influences and impact in her life. Mm-hmm. And I can recall when she first started doing hair, I'm down for an experiment, but the experiment got to come out right. And I remember when she first started doing my hair, she had a very tight grip. She would grip your hair and lock it in. And I liked that because you were guaranteed your hair would not slip out. Yeah. But then when she would get down to like the nape of the neck, you know, the little short hairs at the back, she would grip a hold to those, and I'd be like, BBB, you got them BBBs, come on now. So she's like, okay, Auntie, I got it. So I was like her main, when it comes to the family, I was like her main customer. Um, I never wanted to experiment with color. She convinced me to go with this one color, and I fell in love with it. There was a mohawk that she had, because she had that signature Afro mohawk, but there was a mohawk that she wore that was curly, and I had saw it. And earlier this year, I was talking to her about it, and I said to her, I said, when you come back, I want you to do my hair like that.
Mhm.
So I remember we were talking about business. I do little things. I like working with my hands, especially since I retired. And she told me, she goes, Auntie, you need to open up your own shop. So last year,
That sound
I
like her, by the way.
incorporated.
That sound like her, by the
Yes,
way.
yes, yes. Last year I did incorporate, but I never did anything with it. So this year, with the pandemic, I saw where the people over in Asia, they wore a mask, and I said, well, they must know something that we don't. So I started making masks for the family, and when I showed Rabiah some of the masks that I was making, she goes, "Oh, Auntie, you're doing that. You're doing that." So from there, that's what I've been doing, is making masks. But she's always been the one to motivate, to encourage. And, you can't help but to turn around and say, "Well, you need to do the same thing." Because sometimes she would say something, but she didn't follow up on it. So I have to do the same thing with her. I would turn around and tell her, you got to stay motivated. Try this, try that. And I'll never forget when she went off to beauty school, and when she graduated, I was so proud of her. That was like the proudest day, because she didn't let anything hold her back. She had some setbacks early on, but she didn't let it hold her back. We had a conversation about that, and I told her, I said, you know what? You feeling down right now? I said, but just look at it this way. You have reached your level of downness. So there's only one direction that you can go in. What is that? We both said at the same time, up. I said, that's right. I said, you're going to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Watch what I tell you. And when that baby girl came out last year and she started doing these shows and everything, I was just so proud of her. When she came on your podcast earlier this year, I was just just the smile across my face when I was listening to her as she was speaking to you all on the podcast. And she knows her stuff. This girl knows her stuff. And I'm just so proud of her. I was proud of her then, and I still am.
I want
It
to
should
get.
be. I'm sorry, I promised myself I was going to get emotional. So,
No, you ain't gotta say sorry.
okay.
We all understand. I want to get her cousin. On next. How was she as a child? Being her cousin as a kid.
Which cousin?
I mean, my bad, my apologies. Let's get Aziz. I didn't hear from you
Yeah.
all. Go ahead.
I mean, I didn't really know Bebe as a child, but I know growing up, I'm younger than her, so like growing up, getting to know her, it felt great because every time she would come up to Atlanta, like she would always want to do stuff with us, and like like remember one time she came up and said, Aziz, you want to? I was playing. She came in. I was playing video games. Like, Aziz, you got another controller? And I was like, yeah. And we just started playing video games together, and we were having a good time. And she was telling me like, oh, do this, you gotta do that, and I was just following directions because it was working out and it was helping us out. And then like all the times we would go. I remember when I was little, we would always go to Ruby Falls up in Tennessee, and everybody was so happy. I always used to look up to everybody, and it's just, I just wish that my big cousin was still here, because I wish I wanted to do there was so much more stuff that I wanted to do with her, and like, I know she's looking down on us right now, but it's just, I just want there's so much more stuff that I want to do with her. And I wish I'm wishing that one day we all just meet up together one day and we'll just see each other have our good times once again. It's just, like her coming to my soccer games really, really helped I remember when the whole family came. Then I remember all my cousins ran up to me. Then Bebe, she took pictures with me and everything. Everybody took pictures with me, and it just made me feel a whole lot better knowing that she was there and everybody else was there. And it just, I just, I just miss the smile she used to give every time. She had that smile that made me feel more confident in myself. Like her smile made me want to push and fight harder to be the best that I can and be great. And I mean, every time I close my eyes and I feel like I'm feeling down on myself, I just imagine my big cousin smile, and I feel like I can do anything after just seeing that smile in my head.
Yeah. That lets you know that she was a prophet here in this world. You know what I'm saying? Every time I seen her, it was just, I don't know, man. It's just her energy. Her energy is just different. Like she a 101. You can't even compare to nobody. You know what I'm saying? At all. We're gonna get her other cousin Lala to speak as well too. How was she as a child in your perspective?
Growing up, Bebe was always inquisitive, like Mom said.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a question. It was always, how we gonna do this and how we gonna do that? But outside of that, it was always a good time. Like, if you look at this picture behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and you see right here, that's B. That's me. This is our oldest cousin, Camille. And like, just looking at the vibes right there, that's not even all of us to mention that. It's not all of us, not even by far. And as you can see, I'm the baby. And BB was 3 years older than me. So it was always a good time. We'll go outside, we playing kickball, we playing football. There was no limits to the things that all of us did. We was at all of our aunties and uncles' houses. We was packed up. Like I said, it was a lot of us. Like I can't, it's not even, that's an understatement. Cause this right here, this ain't nothing. There's probably about 6 or 7 more of them. And then that don't even count Aziz, that don't count ZZ, cause it's a lot of us. My uncle used to pack us up in a two-door car and we be riding. It's a wrap. Like we on the town.
Yeah.
It was always a good time. Like I can't stress it enough. I feel like I had the best childhood in the world and I wouldn't give it up
She
for
used to tell
nothing.
me. She used to tell me she used to travel to Chicago, I believe, like some areas in Georgia, I believe, or something like that. I don't remember the other city, but I remember she used to always say Chicago a lot. Back and forth to Chicago and then Miami.
Yeah, she definitely used to travel. Auntie used to have her. They was on the move.
Mm-hmm.
Even like just as the family as a whole, like Aziz was saying, we went to Ruby Falls, we went to Key West, we went just recently did a family reunion in New Jersey. We met up with the other side of our family, and even with that, like that was a vibe in itself. We all got together. It's a kickball game.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know how it is when it comes to them kickball games, like how it is when it comes to playing Uno, like how it is when it comes to playing Monopoly. It's real deal. We ain't family right now.
Yeah.
And it gets serious, but
Oh God. Yeah.
it's just BB was just a vibe, man. And like Munch said, like you can't. It was a 1-on-1. You can't replace that. I met Munch through B when I used to cook, and he used to buy my food, and BB always used to push for it. You should do more. You got all this talent. You could do so much more with it. Like just stop playing with it and just make it happen. And I wish I really would have.
That sound like her, man. That sound like her.
Instead of being, in the background, not wanting to really be in the limelight of what everybody else got going on, like just really following her footsteps, in opposed to trying to do it now that she's not here to, tell me how to go through it. Like she went through things so everybody else who had business ventures didn't have to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
BB always used to push me. BB was my go-to, man. Like just 20. I'm 27, and this past birthday we went to Costa Rica. That was my last birthday with her. We went zip lining and we had a ball. It was a good freaking time. The year before that we went skydiving. That was on the behalf of Aunt Naima. Because Aunt Naima went skydiving a couple of years ago. It was like, oh, who knew? If she could do it, we damn sure can do it. So I can't get that nowhere else. Like I was saying at the visual, I love all my cousins, but you just can't get that nowhere else. ZZ was not jumping on no plane with me. Mumu was not jumping on no plane with me. Aziz, you might do it, but I don't know. Like, BB, oh, you want to do that? Let's go. What time? What I need? What you
Yeah.
want me to do? Like always, and just to know, like, man, you just can't get that nowhere else, man. Ain't no way they can't make that up in the factory. They can't copy and paste that because it's not, you just can't duplicate it. I don't know what Auntie had going on when she was baking BB for them 9 months, but listen, ain't no way. Just the childhood is just everything.
I want to ask her mom, how was she as a child? You know, you carried her in your womb. How was she? I see her, and I see her pictures in the background. Like, how was she?
Well, let me tell you this. Lala just brought up a point about she don't know what I did to this child when she got into my womb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I did was I prayed to the heavens to bring me a child that's going to be great in this world. God is God, honest truth. Every time the moon would become full, I prayed to the moon. You know, a lot of people, you know, we've gotten so much away from culture that we don't understand the powers that we are. We're not machines as human beings. We're divine gifts, creations created from the universe. And once I had learned that lesson as a young adult myself, around 27 years old, before I had my daughter, I started, you know, learning certain things. I said, you know what? And especially listening to the Oriental people and how they read to their children before the children were born, how they, you know, just talk and have conversations with their children before they were born. My pregnancy, I almost lost Rabiah. My pregnancy, I did not have a very good pregnancy. I went from almost 200 pounds, weighing 200 pounds, to 120 pounds, you know. And I just kept praying. And there's one thing I did every single time. And this is how I knew that my child was special. She was very special. Not to say that other children are not special, but sometimes we as parents have to do things to make a certain connection with your children while they're in the womb. And then once they arrive, there's certain things that will happen that you'll know that you did what you're supposed to be doing. I would say to the moon, I lived in Edison Towers. When it was first built, I was one of the first occupants in Edison Towers, and I lived on the 8th floor, the top floor. And my apartment so happened to be on the east side. So I would rub my belly and say, listen, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to say this to you. I want you to remember the moon, because the moon was beautiful. You're on the top floor. Yeah, now I know what it feels like. The rich folks want to live on the water, you know, and you see the moon rising in the east every time for 9 months. I did it consistently. So as time fast forward, she's 2 years old, and I kept her. She was in my possession for 2 years. So I know no one else was teaching her this. So one day I'm driving in my 1973 Datsun 210, and I'm riding down the road trying to drop her off and then get to work. All of a sudden my baby says, "Mommy." I said, "What?" "Moon." Just as I said it to her while she was in the womb, she stated it back to me the same way. Wow. She says, "Mommy." I said, "What did you say?" And if anybody know what the designer district is, we stayed on 41st Street. So I stopped the car in the middle of the road. I had a stick. I got a stick, okay? So, you know, stopping. "What did you say?" I said to her, looking back at her. She says, "Mommy, Mommy, remember you told me?
Wow.
From there, I knew I did something. I knew the connection was there, because we bring children into the world. We're not sure we're connected to them or not. We know that we're caring for this beautiful gift that God has given us, but we're not sure if the connection was made. Okay. So as a child, as she continued to grow, and as I continued to look at her grow, very inquisitive, always a leader. She was always a leader. And I think her cousin Isaiah would say, I mean, as a parent, you're watching them perform, these little children running around. I remember one time they're dancing African dance. So I turned on the music, dancing African dance. She said, no, that's not the way you do it. You do it like this. And everybody's following behind Rabiah. She was the leader, she took care of everything. No, you can't do this. You have to do it this way. Very inquisitive, had very good leadership qualities as a child. We also owned a business at Bayside. We were one of the first Black businesses out of Bayside when they first opened. I think that was in like 1985. I think it was 85 or 87. I can't remember the date. And I met her father there. They owned a business there. And, I got into the business, Expressions by Ahmed, and we sold oils and incense. And that's where she really got her eye for, working with the public, dealing with the public. She was only 3, but she would, Mommy, I'm going to sell this. This is a 3-year-old telling me this. Mommy, I'm going to sell this. So that's where I believe that's where she really formulated things in her head as far as business is concerned. And we sold incense, as far as her health part is concerned, I know Susie made mention about how she had the hands for healing, and she would heal, because that's all I promoted in my house. If you talk to a lot of my friends, a lot of my family members, they'll tell you I'm always in the kitchen. I was always juicing. I was always creating things to eat. When the health food store was making bad food back in the day, because y'all young, health food stores food was like eating cardboard back in the day. Okay. But I will always be in the kitchen formulating things in the kitchen, and she'll be right there. So her healing, for her, she'll always come to me, Mommy, can I do this for the women? Can I do that for the women? And I will just advise her, listen, certain people have certain type of allergies. You stay with the basic herbal herbs and things like that. So you make sure that they don't have allergies toward it. So I would teach her the gentle herbs to deal with, I said, now, if you're dealing with things that are very harsh, then this is the way you do it. So she unbeknownst to me, she was taking all of this in, as a little girl, as a young woman, she was taking all of this in, and she herself was dealing with certain issues, and she wanted to know how she can deal with it. Even her dog, Chloe, even her dog, Ma, no, give her coconut oil or clean her out. She took it on. Books that I have. I'm trying to look for my herbal books missing, out of my house, because she started taking on. When they say the apple does not fall too far from the tree, when you're doing something in life and you bring your children into this world, they will carry on what you have. How can you say, when it's not visual, when you don't think, when you know that it's visual, but you don't see that it's visual, intangible, when you don't see it happening, but the only time that you hear it happening is when you hear her colleagues, repeating words that I have said to her, repeating things that I have said to her, I've always given her encouragement. And the first time that she spoke about Susie, she never said her name, but she says, Mommy, what do you think about these colors right here? I said, well, that's the old television That's the old television analog system that we used to watch at the end of the night when the television go off at night, you know? And she's like, really? I said, yeah, look on YouTube. You'll see it analog. And I showed her analog, you know, this is what you call analog, you know? And she's like, really, Mom? I said, yeah. Didn't realize it was Susie Analog who she was referring to, you know, as time went on.
Wow.
We sit here, we have people called politicians. I believe she was a politrustin, meaning she built her, you know, you have politicians. I just created a word, politrustian. You know, she was out here in this world. She was a politician, but I'm going to use the word politrustian. She was someone who you can trust in, you know, as a person, you know, to make sure that the government was running right. I mean, you know, the people, you know, that she meshed well with the people. And trustian comes in that she was trusted by so many. And that's just the way she was. Because I told her, never lie to anyone. Don't lie to people. Yeah, I said, the only time you lie is in a matter of life and death. That's the only time you should lie to people. You know, she learned her confidence, building confidence with young girls. I told her that. I said, whenever you go out here and you're dealing with people, if you're not confident within yourself, people are going to know that you're not confident within yourself. You understand? So you have to, you know, you have to be able to show that confidence and be able to let people know that it's okay, you know, to be who you are and be beautiful. I said, look at your mom. I said, do I wear a lot of makeup? Do I do this? Do I do that? And she says, no, Mom. I said, so think about that. You know, as you go on, when I make certain comments to you, you know, try to analyze it as you go. I never told her no, no, no. The only time I did that when she was younger. One day she walked to me and said, Mom, if you keep telling me no, I won't be able to learn anything. Wow. I said, wow. So I let the strings loose just a little bit. And because she asked me if she could go to Disney. She wanted to go to Disney so badly. And since I couldn't afford to go there as a child, I mean, you know, when I was, you know, when she was younger, I said, one day you're going to go. Don't worry, you're going. So the recruitment came up. And, Ma, you think I could go? I said, yeah, you could go. But she had asthma at the time. And I'm like, oh, gosh, you know, I'm saying to myself, you know, I don't want her to go because she could have an attack and I'm not going to be there. I'm so many 100 miles away. I got to jump in the van. It's going to take me 3 hours to get there. That was my major concern with her. So I found a way where she didn't have to worry about her asthma anymore. I healed her of her asthma. I cured her of her asthma because I got tired of the medicines and the medications, you know. Don't do this at home, okay? You know, those who know how to do it can do it at home. But I healed her of her asthma. She called me one night. She had an asthma attack. And I'm like, what's wrong? Mom, I can't breathe. I said, where's the solution that I told you to make? She says, right by my bed. I said, don't call me back. Drink it all, then call me back. So I waited. I was getting, you know, concerned. Next thing I know, she calls me back about 4 hours later. Ma, I said, what? I'm at work. I said, okay, you know. So from that point, she knew she was okay, gone. Helping others, she will always say, Mom, can someone stay at my house? Can someone stay here? I'm like, who is it? Munjin was one. Can he stay here? I said, okay, you know, pulling the teeth out the mouth, you know, okay, you know. I said, they got to, you know, on the couch. So she was very helpful. And again, like my sister expressed, we come from a family of caregivers. I had a grandmother, you know, which would be Rabiah's great grandmother. I had a grandmother who took in adopted children. She took in orphan children, you know, and she would tell us stories about how she would take in the Africans when they were coming over to the United States and they didn't have a place to stay. So she took care of about 3 or 4 African people when they came over to the United States, didn't have a place to stay. So she got that caring aspect from that. It's just in our genes, you know. Not saying that we trust everybody. We don't scrape everybody up off the street, you know, but it's when people need that help, that genuine help, you know. And me, I'm going to be in your face and I'm going to say what you want to eat. No meat, no pork here. Sorry, you know. So I guess she learned that from not just me, but from all of her aunts and uncles.
Yeah, because it sounds like her when you said that. She's like that, you know. She gonna make sure everybody, yo, what you need, I got that. You know what I'm saying? Like she's very like how you said she's a leader. She was she was just a natural born leader, and she got that from you and her family. You know. I got one more question, and we're gonna conclude everything. I wanna I don't know, Margot, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes.
I'm in the dark right now, but I'm here.
How was well, let's say this. Where do you see her legacy going from this point on? I know you saw her a few times, and you actually had her talk at your show, Tenderheaded, and she was actually talking about, you know, how important it is to take care of your hair and all these, you know, important, like all these products, you got to be careful on what you put in your hair. So talk about her legacy and what you think it's gonna, you know, do for the future as well.
I think just listening to you all, her legacy lives within you all, honestly. Just hearing everybody's stories about how she was growing up and, you know, what she did, what she would tell people. I mean, that's one of the things that sits with me and that'll sit with me forever. Like every time that I've ever encountered her, it was always just something to walk away with. Especially at the Tenderheaded event, she the moment I asked her to join the panel, she was like down for it. Like, oh, what you want me to say? What you want me to talk about? I was just like, just be you. And she definitely just was her. She empowered so many women in that audience. Like y'all don't even know. I had friends walking away like, wow, who was that? Like, I'm like, she inspired a lot of people I know to go natural. From that moment, I swear to you, I know some people from that show were like, I'm gonna go natural now. Like she really inspired me to like embrace who I am and, you know, love me for being me. Like she just was a light, so empowering. And I'm grateful to have some of that to have captured some of that on video. I'm just grateful to have been, you know, in her presence. I swear, just anything that she said when I was in her presence just always just sat with me. And I don't know, I always just look back and like, dang, like, wow, how, like, she was just one of those people like, wow, like, who raised her? And it's amazing to just know that, like, her family is a representation of who she was. So I'm grateful to have been in this talk because, I don't know, it just really touched me listening to you all because everything that you hear about her is because of you all. So I'm just super grateful.
Anybody want to you know answer the question? Where do you see her legacy going on from this point? Anybody could you know answer it.
To me, there's so much that can be done with what she has left with us to honor her time. I mean, from imagery, her and I created countless photos together. I'm still posting. We did so much in a few years, man, we could do a book. Just the photos she's done, the hair that she's done that, you know, has made beautiful images. And that's not just me, that's so many other people. There's artists who have reinterpreted the photos of her hair work and they turn it into something brand new. So there's so much that can be done in the world of art with what she did in her time here. She was a writer, so she has writings, and we just have to collect them all. When I think about her legacy, I think about it inspiring so many young girls to be entrepreneurs and creative girls, and a lot of people, even just in Black people, period. All types of people that she can inspire, but we're in a time where now we have to collect so much of what she's left. She left the blueprint for us. She did, because now she's the ancestor of us. So she left the blueprint. It's up to us to find all the pieces and put it together. So it actually is endless as to what we can do to carry on the legacy that she wanted people to live holistically, happily, and freely. And that's what I remember that she wanted for herself and others.
And one thing I remember, she actually showed me, because like I said, she's a one-on-one. The way she even did her hair was just different. It was like an art piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, that's what
she was an artist.
Yeah,
a hair artist, and not only.
Yeah.
And I would just say she was a surgeon. I mean, those lines those parts that she made, the way she was an architect. Like, she just used hair to communicate, but she was showing us skills that people who go for training have. Like, training to be surgeons. Like, she really, I've never, and I know for a fact that I will never meet anyone who had that level of connection that way with the art and hair. I just don't think I'll ever meet anyone like that.
Well, Susie and everyone, I will always make this statement. And as she was growing, when she first started, I asked her as a child, she's 6 years old, and she's standing up on the chair. And she says, Mommy, can I do your hair? I don't want you doing my hair. Why? I said, because you don't know how to do no hair. I encouraged her in that way so she can see sides of people. Because you got people out here, they're very funny when it comes down to things, or they'll act out as if that's not what they want. But as a little girl, I taught her, do you want to learn how to make $1? Because when you're talking to children, you're talking a little bit of money. You want to learn how to make a quarter or $1? She said $1. Like I always said, it took one braid for her to really get it into her head. And once she saw that, it's like geometry. Once she heard that and saw that, it just went like wildfire from then on. Just too much. She will always tell me, Mommy, you're working too hard. I don't want you to work anymore. And this is what she was doing, trying to get it right, trying to make things, put everything all together. So none of her aunts and uncles can work anymore, really. That's what she really was saying to me. So to carry this legacy on, we need to each one teach one. That's what we need to start doing. I told her to get legal in order for her to really reach that pinnacle where she needed to get to. I said, you got to get legal, baby. I said, it's one thing to do hair and be famous. I said, but it's another thing to do hair and be legal. And just like Susie and the young lady, Margot. Just like Susie and Margot made the statement. When she did design, she will always ask me, Mommy, what about this? I said, let me look at it. Because we come from a family of braiders also. You understand? We do. But we never took it to that level. We did it for the family, or we did it for the next person. But she took it as a business. She turned it into a business, a real business. Yes. Okay? And so she would ask me, because I critique her. I said, well, when you do this, you have to do it this way. You have to do it that way. Make sure you're not doing this to the person's head, So us as aunties and me being a mother, I'm right here looking at her. I critiqued her every single time. You know, when it came down to a certain fashion, I said, you have to think about how these women are going to feel when they walk out of here with that particular design in their head, you know, or create your own design. So I would show her certain designs. You know, she had the fingers to do it, you know, but I would have the creative designs for her to pull out. And then she started pulling out on her own. Go right ahead.
Even the professionalism that it takes when you have a customer sitting in your seat. Because so many times you get in the barber shop and the beauty shop and all the kind of conversations that are going on. And I can recall a time she was younger and she was trying to get it right. And she had a customer. I came to the house and she had a customer. And she wasn't there. And I had to check that. You understand? You have a customer. This is a paying customer. You do not leave to go anywhere to do anything until you take care of your customer. It's about professionalism. And you gotta be professional in it. Yeah. So I mean,
you gotta be steadfast.
Exactly. And if there's conversation, some conversations you don't get involved in. Just a lot of different things that when I go to the shop, what I don't want to hear, what I don't want to get involved in, just different things, you know, and trying to pass that on to her so hopefully she can do it differently. She can show her customers something different. And hopefully that bled over. But, you know, just little bits of information that as you're walking through this life, as an older person, you see things that you may like or not like, and then passing that on to the young people in hopes that they'll take that with them, you know, as they grow.
Yeah. So right now we're going to conclude and talk about what's next in finding justice for Rabiah.
Wait.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to just answer your question as well. As far as how is her legacy going to continue? Like I told you before, we got a big family, and it just can't and it just won't stop. Like how she had that commercial, I think she did it with you, Susie. It won't stop. We not gonna allow it to stop. There's way too many of us. There's way too many females. Like Aunt Jamila just said, we come from a family of braiders. Like I call myself, I tell her all the time, I just became a female because 3 years ago I just learned how to start braiding my own hair. So, but to that magnitude, the way that she did it, no, not even close. Just, you know, little cornrows or whatever. But even with that, oh, you did your hair, la, that's beautiful. Like, you did that in comparison to what it once was. It won't stop. It can't stop. We will not allow it to stop. Like I said, at the visual, Kiyomi will continue. House of Kiyomi will continue. If I got to do it myself, and I know that's not going to be the case, but if I got to do it myself, I'm going to make for certain that Kiyomi will continue. From the soap products that she used to make, I used to watch her make them. From the hair products that she said, if you can't put it in your mouth, don't put it in your hair. Don't put it on your body. From the hairstyle, I don't know who I'm gonna find to be able to skin it like B did, but I can't find nobody that's gonna skin it like B did. But you know, to have a comparison, to have the shop up the way that she wanted it to be, it's gonna continue with every fiber in my being. I just wanted to speak on that.
Yeah, because just like it was said, it's like Susie said. She said the blueprint has been laid out. Yes, Rabiah has told each and every one of us. She's sat down with some of us and shared her business plan. Now it's up to us to come together and make that happen. And we're going to continue on with her legacy, without doubt. No, you can't stop this. What happened to Rabiah in her physical? No, you can't stop this. It's going to continue on. The house of Kiyomi will live on.
So let's talk about finding justice for Rabiah. Miss Anita, you know, and Miss Jamila, talk about how we can find justice for Rabiah and everything that evolves into, so we could, you know, bring this to the masses. And Susie, you could join along as well into this conversation. Well, everybody could join along in this conversation, but I want to start with Miss Anita and her mom as well.
Okay, as far as seeking justice for Rabiah, we all know that, or I won't say we all know because a lot of people don't know, but most times when there's a drive-by, there are no witnesses. So this is something that the people in Columbia, Maryland are going to have to come to the realization that someone in the community has information that's relative to this particular incident that involved the death of Rabiah and the loss of her child, Ahja. We're calling upon them to help us get justice for Rabiah. We're praying that it's not going to be a long road. We're praying that there are good people in the city of Columbia, in the state of Maryland, that will come forth, speak up and speak out, and tell their truth, and tell the truth. This is what we're asking for. Rabiah didn't deserve how she died. No one deserves to die in that manner. And all we're asking is for them to help us.
Yeah.
I think that continuing to share her story, as us, all of us millennials know the power of social media, continuing to share her story, keeping people updated. There is an ongoing fundraiser for the family. It is not reached its goal. Things like that will help the family continue to be able to make ways to spread the story about what's going on or what has happened. And also the use of hashtags, super important. One hashtag we've been using that has been populating has been hashtag justice for Rabiah, but it could be so many. And once you do the hashtag, you'll actually see more hashtags associated with her story as to what happened to her. And we have to continue to populate that data, because the more we populate the data, the more the story can spread. And there are answers out there, and we have to trust that the answers will come to light soon, but we have to keep spreading the story.
Anyone want to
Yes, I would like to come in and say something also. Thank God again for technology, because hello.
yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I just would like to say thank God for technology, the power of technology, the power of social media. Because if we did not have these communicating platforms, we would not be able to get the word out. But now, in these days and times that we have been blessed to have social media, there's so many dynamic social platforms out there that can be utilized to communicate this message globally. We no longer have to wait have newspapers that we got to pick up the next day and read a newspaper to find out information. Now that we have digital platforms that we can send out these messages to communities everywhere globally, and just to let people know, not only here in South Florida, because the message, I believe, through this particular social platform, that we can have this one go, especially in the northern areas, so that this message can be sent out to these individuals in the northern area. Because we're sitting here in Miami, Florida, but it needs to be more mostly circulated in the northern areas of the United States. I mean, everywhere globally, but mainly in that northern sector right there, so that people can know and continually know what went on, so we can find the justice, so the people can come out and identify themselves or identify the people who did this. So social platforms, thank you. Communicating through social media, thank you. That's one way that we can find justice for Rabiah, my daughter, my angel, our angel, you know, our prophetess who came to this earth, okay? She didn't have to be in a church format. This is the church now. These are our church formats now, you know, are these social platforms now.
Anybody else want to conclude on that, on finding justice for Rabiah?
I just want to take the time to say that gun violence is deplorable. It is something that is taking so many Black lives away. And it is something that we need to heal in our community. It is ridiculous that we have made it this far. We have survived slavery. We have survived civil rights, the movement that allowed for us to live the lives that we have now. We have survived so much to do what? Shoot each other over what? Money? Jealousy? What is it? Why are we killing each other? Why are we shooting up houses? For what? Something temporary. Something temporary where this country can do so much better by us. We are tearing each other apart because that is their design. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. I don't want to talk too deeply about these things, but I just need to say that anyone musically, creatively, artistically that's upholding guns as being dope, you're disgusting, you're weak, you need to learn how to do better by yourself and your people. I go to Africa and they laugh at us. They say we have an obsession, a sickness, an illness with guns. And I saw it take away my sister, and I will never, ever be okay with gun violence in our community. It's something that went from being something to protect ourselves with to something we're turning on our own people. Black people, we are all we got. So this has to stop.
I
It
agree.
has to stop.
We lost too many brothers here in this, you know, especially in the Black communities. I'm from, I mean, I feel like a majority or some of us is from Liberty City, so we already know, you know, what really goes on, you know, and it sucks that, you know, every day or every week we hearing RIP this, RIP that, and it honestly it really bothers me because it's my own brother. You know what I'm saying? A Black man, Black woman. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it hurts my soul. You know, it hurts my soul every day I walk out that door, the front door of my house. You know what I'm saying? That I can't. It's like it's like you dealing with the police on top of that, and you gotta deal with your own brother. When you walk in here in these streets, when you walk in just to go to the corner store, when you see another Black man, they looking at you like you you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, like they looking at you like you the enemy, but we not really the enemy. So it breaks my heart, you know, that I had to lose my friend through, you know what I'm saying, do this. You know, I would never in a million years would even think that. And I feel like it sucks that, you know, us as Black people have to go through this, you know.
And I would like to also say what, you know, just as Susie stated, the jealousy. What makes you so jealous? What makes you so angry? Let's do this. What has happened to responsibility, taking responsibility for the safety and security of our homes, of our communities, of the women, of the men? What has happened? What have we allowed to come into our communities? And it's not just my younger generation, my millennials. No, what has happened? Where did it come from? You understand? I mean, I can sit here, that could be a whole nother subject. And I can fill in a lot of blanks that a lot of our millennials may have questions about. Me, my sisters, all of us, we can fill in a lot of blanks of what has happened. But what we have to do is we have to Take what has happened, look at it, and have a discussion about it. And I don't mean with politicians either. I mean amongst ourselves.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, them politicians don't care. You know, like, you know, me, when I
Can I say something?
go ahead.
Nah, I just want to say something short, because I've been teetering back and forth between the conversation, and I know we talked about legacy, and I know we talking about gun violence. Anybody who knows me knows that Bebe, we was tight, and I'm an advocate in the community or whatnot. And what people don't know is that when we talk about gun violence, and we, you know, I'm one of the people who like to talk about the root of the problem. And me and Bebe many times had worked with the root. So when we talk about legacy, I think her legacy is love. She was able to bring a lot of guys together, sit at the table, and a lot of those guys is hurt right now. So when we talking about legacy, a lot of things finna change, and at least I can speak for Liberty City. A lot of guys have sat down and said, this gotta stop. You know, Bebe wasn't like this, Bebe wasn't, they done already came to me. So I can speak for that, for like Liberty City. I know things are changing, you know what I'm saying? Without getting into too much. Anytime it was anything going on, she pretty much, you know what I'm saying, put me in touch with the right person I needed to talk to at one point in time to really kind of like
diffuse the situation.
This gun violence. On the last thing, as far as like, you know, legacy. I mean, not legacy, but how do we continue, I guess, to put it out there? Anything y'all need from me, you know, Susie, anybody, y'all just let me know resources. I got moved around the country and on gun violence, and this is kind of, I hate to say it's re-energized me, but it got me upset, but it got me in a way where I just have to. One thing that Bebe always taught me was to move with love and have empathy. You know what I'm saying? And
say it again, James. I didn't hear you, baby.
Move with love and have empathy for one another. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I, you know, at the same point, at the same time, I want to be upset. I still want to understand why. You know, we always want to understand why. And I know moms didn't want me to go up there, but it's just, it's in me. I gotta go. Cause you know, we talking about moving up north and stuff like that. But either way, that's just what I wanted to say. Her legacy, and people, for people who didn't know, was literally about love. You know what I mean? And she really, in Liberty City, brought a lot of guys together, stopped a lot of gun violence, and you know what I'm saying? A lot of people with stuff that, you know, people may or may not know. May or not have known, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you for that much.
Yeah.
Thank you, James.
I wanted to say,
go ahead.
it's just like, it disturbs me, and I'm sure it disturbs everybody to know that it's such a disconnect, like the kind of piggyback off of what Susie was saying. It's such a disconnect about how we are in our own community, and it's most likely us that's taking our own lives. But where did the disconnect come from, to the point that we're not protecting our women and children? It's more specifically our pregnant women and children. Like, it don't make sense to me. It's very angering, and it's like, how we even got here? How did we even get here to the point where, okay, well, yeah, we gonna, whoever is that decided to make this decision to take our angel from us, we gonna go ahead and we gonna do this to make whatever, like, nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows the reasoning as to why we are where we are right now. So for you to have us in this situation right now is beyond me. You're supposed to be protecting the women and the children. That's the role, if you ask me, for the black male. So move. So sorry. So just do my whole little problem right now, man. Dang, I'm sorry. It don't make no sense, but moral of the story, we supposed to be protecting one another. The woman is supposed to protect the male, and the male is supposed to protect the female, and in its entirety, y'all supposed to protect one another. Like this is just it's ridiculous to me to know that she was expecting, to know that how happy and how forward looking she was to becoming a mother. Like so many different plans, everything was just in motion. It brought me to tears the other day because early in the morning, you know, you set notifications up for whatever is to come. 2 months ago, I put in my phone, get prepared for Bebe baby shower. We got a lot of work to do, and it came up. Baby shower was supposed to be on her birthday, and months later, I was supposed to be here. So when that comes up, it's just like, how? Like, I was just talking to you on that very same day. Like, how are we here right now? How does this make sense? How is this fair? Like, you don't want to question God, or you don't want to question any of the movements or the things that are taking place. But I'm not here to say that this was something that was naturally. This was in your destiny. Like when you were born, September 26, 1989, it was in your destiny that your expiration date was going to be July 31st. Like, there's no way possible. She was taken from us. She was stolen from us. Hearts will never be filled. Happiness will not feel happy as it once did. Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, I don't understand. And the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, every morning I wake up, it angers me to know that I can't reach out and call my sister no more. To know I can't hear her laugh no more. Like, it bothers me. I want to scream. I want to throw stuff. I want to do a lot of stuff, but I know that's not what she would want. So you got to definitely move in a manner of Bebe. You got to keep her in mind at every step of the way, but we human at the end of the day. And when something like that is taken from you, it's just like you feel like you're forced to react for real. But I digress. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. So we're gonna conclude the memorial show for Rabiah. Any last words for anybody before we end the show?
Yes, I want to speak to the gun violence.
Okay. No problem.
You know, I'm retired law enforcement, and I had seen too much of the killing of our people by our people. And I know that, you know, there's the movement going about the nation and the world about law enforcement officers killing us. And I'm angered by that as well. But what also angers me is that we are killing us. I was just having a discussion with my brother the other day. I'm like, when did we move from having fist fights in the sandlot, dusting each other off and being best friends, to totally and completely just wanting to take people off the count? And because of what? As was discussed earlier, what? Jealousy, envy, egos. What? Because I made a mistake and stepped on your shoes. What? And then you want to come around and kill me with the AK-47? Rabiah makes the fourth person in our family who has died at the hands of someone else. She is the third person to die as a victim of gun violence. And the reason why I say third is because Ahja also died as a result of her mother dying from being shot. My daughter stated about protecting women, protecting pregnant women, protecting our children. When we as men are out here shooting at each other, and we have no regard for the people who get caught in the crossfire, and we have no regard for the people who get hit by bullets that continue to travel blocks, striking someone sitting on their front porch, striking someone sitting in their living room watching TV, striking someone sitting outside, someone outside playing. I mean, when are we going to reach a point where we say you know what? We're going to lay down our arms against each other. We're going to stop this. When does that happen? The Bloods and the Crips, when are they going to establish a truce, a lasting truce, where they no longer fight against each other? We had the discussion about 12th Avenue and 13th Avenue, a block separating each other, and you have boys, teenagers, killing each other. When does it stop? And that's my question to all the listeners. When does it stop? When do we start to love each other? Because clearly you can't love yourself if you're killing another person who looks like you. Do you hate yourself so much when you look into the mirror? Do you hate yourself so much that you want to go out in the street and kill someone who looks like you because they look like you? Love yourself. Wake up in the morning and decide, I'm going to love myself today. When I come across somebody in the street who looks like me, I'm going to greet them with love and respect. We need to love each other. We've gotten away from that. When we started calling each other the N-word and stopped calling each other brother, bro, I think that's when we started having our problems. We no longer see each other as brothers and sisters. We see each other as the N-word. And I'm not talking about Negro. That's not the N-word I'm talking about. We don't need to exemplify a word that was been used to degrade us, so it doesn't make us feel bad. We need to just dismiss that word. Don't give it any power. Don't give it any clout. Because when you do that, guess what? It doesn't mean anything to you. It means absolutely nothing. So we need to stop glorifying that word. And any other words that are derogatory and that have been used to label us as a people. Let's love one another.
Yeah. So I appreciate that, Miss Anita. I feel like we needed to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because even my grandma, she told me, ever since I was a kid, she always told me, you know, don't ever use that word. You know what I'm saying? And the more I get older, the more I understand that. You know, I recently went to LA in Crenshaw, and the way that and it was, I think, Lamert Park, the way that the black people over there, like the way they greet one another. They say, "How you doing, my brother?" You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, me being in Miami, when we walk in the street, we don't even acknowledge each other. It's like, bro, why you looking at me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it just, you know, the more I travel, and Susie could especially approach to this as well, by going to Africa, the way that, you know, ever since I came back from LA like last month, the way I approach and how I greet one person that looked like me, and like, hi, how you doing? So how you doing, brother? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the way that California or LA, the way I approach how I went visit LA, I approach that to Miami, because the way that even Nipsey, the reason I went to Crenshaw, when I went to Crenshaw and seeing how they broadcast Nipsey, you know what I'm saying? This is not even about Nipsey, but the way that he carried himself, the way that people told stories about how Nipsey was, and the way that I'm seeing him on the screen, I'm like, wow, you know, and that was through gun violence, you know, and a lot of people saddened by that. And the way that I lost a friend that was kind of in a similar path as Nip, you know, the way that business minded, the way they carried themselves around people, you know, they was a people person. The way they left the room, it was positive energy and positive ways of how they said about that person. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you said that, Miss Anita, because I feel like the people need to hear that. You know, not too many people are actually teaching that in the Black communities, you know, as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate that. Um, do
Yes,
anybody?
and we need the love, just real quick, we need that love and unity. This affects us all. It's not like we're not sitting here affected. You just said Nipsey. I just lost right after Rabiah, I lost my ex who went to high school with Nipsey.
Wow.
He's brokenhearted. He couldn't take this country no more. It broke another person that I love. Two people that I love are gone because the systems the codes, the very broken codes that we're living by as Black people are taking us away. I'm not going to get into how he passed, but it was because he could not take this anymore. So Nipsey passing away is not even just somebody, you know, a big star. This is a man just like Rabiah was a girl who went to high school and they went to high school together. They had favorite songs together. That was his brother. It doesn't matter if we're in LA or Miami. Us Black people in this country, the United States, we need to come together. We need to heal. We need to realize that stuff is going wrong, and they want us gone. Y'all know that. They don't want us to be free and enjoying our lives and doing what we want. So even if that means we have to make our lives outside of this place, we need to find that peace of mind, because that is our true revenge. Finding the peace of mind. And I will take Rabiah with me everywhere that I go, any country I go to. They will know who she is. And there will be proof of her life and her magic everywhere that I go, because she is that conversation. She is what we needed to see, to know that it is possible to have joy. And once we find that joy as Black people, we're going to be all right.
I want to say thank you.
May I interject? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I have one word, and I think this is what's missing from out of our community, that people have just lost. And I'm not one to really criticize a particular religious, but I believe righteousness has dissolved somewhere. It dissolved somewhere, and people don't understand what righteousness is, you know. And I believe that a lot of our people who carry or do their best to carry righteousness as their torch, because righteousness also brings love, you know. A lot of people don't want to hear that anymore. And I don't know if it's television. I don't know if it's programming. I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist also. If you want to sit and just open my head for a day and just plug me in somewhere.
Like I always say, like I'm about to interrupt, but like I always say, it gets deeper than rap.
It gets deeper.
Yeah.
And I believe righteousness, I mean, we're really soft toning what we're saying here. But if many want to get into our heads and really discuss what's really going on, and personally, it's rap. It's this, I don't even want to call it rap music. It's mess that is being programmed, that is being pushed, you know. And it's unfortunate that the innocent individuals that are promoting this, they're innocent. Why? Because they're coming from situations where they had nothing. A lot of them, they had nothing. So the way out is to do X, Y, and Z. So if righteousness and love, because I remember listening to a symposium, and I think the symposium was a combination of Cornell West, Louis Farrakhan. They were sitting around the table, and the cube, Tavis Smiley, the cube that sat in the center said love, love. And if you turn the word love backwards, it says evolve. They dropped the silent E. Okay? So evolve. We need to start allowing love to evolve. And that's what's missing, because when I meet a lot of people in my movements, I'm a manager, you know, and I have the young individuals who work with me directly. You know what they tell me? You're nice. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean I'm nice? Aren't you nice? But when you hear a lot of these young individuals speak, and I'm talking about 17, 16, 18 years old, and when you hear them speak, their conversations, it makes you want to just drop everything and run. So what is really going on out here? What type of information is being dispersed out here that we don't see on a constant and daily basis? Because you're dealing with older people, and then you're dealing with this younger generation. And there's certain things that I see being transmitted over these platforms, these social media platforms. And it's unfortunate that that's what I think control lost. I don't mean to be jumping all over the place. Control was lost when everybody started having their own platform. And what I mean by platform, I mean by having your own telephone. A lot of things were lost during that segment of time when these cell phones came in and started transmitting like a television. I think a lot was lost then. You know, I mean, we don't have a control over that, but it needs to be pinpointed and realized that this is what's happening. And I'm in the school system, and I see a lot of things take place in the school system. You know, I work for Dade County Schools. There's a lot of stuff happening in the school system, and it's happening with these babies, and a lot of these babies are allowed to get away with a lot of things, you know, because discipline is no longer in the schools. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just about to ask you, like, because my grandma, she's in the school, or was retired from the school system, and the way that she used to always tell me the way that her generation was trained and stuff like that. And I was going to ask, 'cause I'm not really tapped in as much like I used to be in the school system, like, you know, hearing about things because of my grandma and my family. Like, how is it now? Because, you know, I'm friends with teachers and my cousins are teachers. And how is it now? Because, you know, school system is different compared to ours.
When your grandmother and which is along with me, you know, I know I look young, but anyway, when your grandmother and our time, those who are in their 50s, reaching into their 60s, there was discipline in the schools. Then once they took the corporal punishment out of schools, which was done by design, and I know exactly when it was done, when they took corporal punishment out of schools, when they took prayer out of school, which was the last straw, when they took prayer out of schools, now within the school system now, it's hands off. You can't do nothing with these children. They could be in the classroom. You know, security doesn't want to do anything to them because all they're going to do is send them right back to the classroom. And this is what I'm in elementary school. These children are, and I'm not one to use a lot of crazy cliches, they're off the chain.
And malnourished.
And,
all of the systems in this country are failing Black people. Every single system. We can pinpoint education, but every single system in this country is failing us. We deserve better. I know our histories are here, but if Rabiah's life did anything for me was highlight that this might not be the place that I will find that peace of mind.
Another day. Yeah, I know.
This country might not be that place. not this conversation. We can have this conversation for as long as we want. But this country might not be that place. We have to really decide. We say they took the prayer out of school. Okay, we have to stop giving the power to they. Let's get stronger as Black people. This situation with Rabiah made me decide how I want to continue my life and unify with my people and find other ways beyond these systems for us to achieve our dreams and our goals. We have to think outside because it's not going to be given it to us.
It's like a Spike Lee movie. When are we going to wake up? You understand? Yeah. Because this is not for us. This is not for us. And that's what people have. We as brown people, brown, Black people in America have to understand. This is not for us. We have to let them do that, and we got to do us. We got to do us. Stop.
There's one song I always sing, and Bob Marley sings it. One song I always sing. Whenever I hear this segment of a conversation comes up, there's only one song I sing. One. Exodus, moving all, I say God's people, even though they say Jah.
The people. That's it.
Exodus, moving all God's people.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Right.
Yes.
Same.
You know
yes.
People want to say things about Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey used the KKK to get what we needed to get the heck on. You understand? Yes.
And that's another definition. We don't know who the KKK really is.
It gets deep in the rap.
It's deep. It's deep, y'all. It's deep, y'all. How are these people getting these guns? They're dropping these guns into neighborhoods at the end of the railroad tracks. And they're dropping them in these trucks.
I'm gonna say this. It's
come on now.
It get deep in the rap. It get deep.
Come on now. We know.
Show each other kindness, my brown people. Show each other kindness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And pass it on, even when people don't want it. Give it to them anyway.
That part.
If they don't want it, you continue giving it to them, because again, people that I run into constantly, they do not understand why it is that I am so blissfully blessed in my simplicity, that I'm okay with riding my Toyota Scion XB with the cracked window shield, but it's paid for. But the engine is wonderful. You understand? And I got bread. Don't get me wrong. I got bread. If I wanted to go out and buy a Mercedes and all that, I could do that. But why? That's not practical for me.
Nope.
It's not going to do nothing for me. It's not going to give me anything. As a matter of fact, the moment it comes off the lot, it depreciates. Well, why I want something that depreciates? You understand?
And the parts are pretty cheap on it too, so
what you have to understand is people get angry because you live in your simplicity. Why are you angry? Why not learn? And you happy and you smiling.
Yes.
I'm 53 years old and they get angry. Why? And I'm gonna wear my beans all the time. How I'm gonna let my baby's legacy go on, I'm gonna continuously wear my beans. Hi. I'm gonna be a light that steps into the room as I am now. You're not taking anything away.
You know what? Like you just said that, and I've been hearing this forever. And I would have conversations with me, and for whatever reason, I always have a problem when I work somewhere, like specifically with females. You just they can't. It's always an issue. I got an attitude problem. I'm mean.
Sound a little mumbled, my baby.
And I would talk to Bebe about this. I'm like, Bebe, like, what's the problem? Like, what's really the problem? I come in, I say good morning, and I just be myself. I don't be in nobody's business. I just be trying to chill. Every job, even in high school, I be chilling. I would prefer to chill out with dudes that be around females. Like, I got a selective, and I wouldn't even say that. I might be overstepping. I don't have no friends. Bebe was my only friend. And when I have conversations with her, I ask, like, B, like, what's really the problem? Like, I'm chilling. When I tell you I'm chilling. Like, I'm to myself. Lala, you gotta understand, it's not you, it's them. You
It sound
over
like
there
a
chilling, and you doing your own thing, but meanwhile, they want you to be, oh, what you did last night? Who you was talking to? Who you was doing this way? Who you was doing that with? And you're not giving them nothing to talk about. You're not giving them none of your business. You're not giving them what they're accustomed to. So they mad at you for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, Bebe got it. Bebe got it. She understood it from the rip early. She understood it. And to this day, I try to move in that way, but it's like, I'm still stuck. I'm not there just yet. Like, what's the problem? Sometimes it's not even a reason. It's just because you look that way. It's just because you walk that way. It's just because they woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Now they come back to you and mess up your shine. Like, just chill, baby. It's okay. Love yourself, like everybody's saying.
Hey, you just gotta move like me. I just walk around life, keep a smile and wave. You know what I mean?
Smile and wave, baby. Smile and wave.
I go see people I ain't seen in a while. Like, where you been? I just been chilling.
I've been vibing.
Chilling.
Big vibing.
I can be gone for 3 months. I come back. Where you been? Oh, I just been, doing my own thing, living life.
I always want to know where you been at. Always. I've been over here. Why you need to know? Like, chill out. Let me be great.
Let me be great.
And you try to
just listen to y'all all talk. Just hearing y'all all talk, especially family. I just hear Bebe. I just hear her. I see her in your smiles. So thank you, family, for sharing just how you feel and how you think, because you really brought out the best of her. You really did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Too, Susie.
I want to say thank you for joining the memorial and having everybody putting this together. Like I really appreciate this. You know what I'm saying? I had to do it because I feel like it wasn't right if I didn't do it or get everybody together. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely something. I want to say thank you again.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Don't thank us. We doing you a service.
Thank you for making it happen, Aaron.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you.
Much love. Much love.
Using this platform.
And for everybody, and I'm talking to the viewers and listeners right now. This is going to be dropping on her birthday on the 26th. So stay tuned. And yeah, we miss you, Rabiah, and
every day
we're gonna continue to bring your legacy to the forefront, in the front line, and worldwide. So that's what we're gonna make people to do. So
I am Rabiah. I am Ahja. Kiyomi will continue.
Yes. That part. All right.
Yeah, for real.
Thank you all.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you.
Thanks much.
All right.
Thank you, James.
And everybody look at that link right there.
Stop again, Jay. GoFundMe.
Is the GoFundMe for Rabiah, please?
We'll make sure that we'll put it on the description as well too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As far as Black culture and our hair and what it means to us, from the outside looking in, we look like something unacceptable. This is something that is a statement. This is an ancestral bind. Nobody can take this from us. We are who we are because of it. No matter if it's curly, wavy, too thick, comb can't go through, comb breaking. You need a hot comb for that bad boy. Whether you want to perm that thing, whatever you want to do with it, that is something sacred that you can do. I've walked into establishments where people feel some some type of way about how I look. And I refuse to change that because I can't bow down to how you feel. You know, this is a connection that we all have. This is what brought us here in this room today. So this is important. This is important. As far as Black men are concerned, when you see your women and we want to change so much and we want to do so many things, it's because this society has put us in a box. And we have to continuously put ourselves in the lane where we feel comfortable to walk outside of our doors, because when we walk inside of them, wigs come off, bonnets come off. You get what I'm saying?